Hello everyone. Today, Alice and I are here to talk about some key concepts that are necessary to understand a scientific paper. These concepts include gaze following, cognitive processes underlying action value calculation, action value calculator model, contextual modulation of infants' gaze following, and development of action value assignment. Let's start with gaze following.
Gaze following refers to the ability to direct one's attention or gaze towards the same object or location as another person. This is a fundamental aspect of social cognition and plays a crucial role in social interactions.
That's right, Alice. Now, let's move on to the cognitive processes underlying action value calculation. This concept revolves around how our brains evaluate the value of different actions and make decisions based on those values.
Absolutely, Alfred. Scientists have been trying to understand how our brains calculate the value of actions and what cognitive processes are involved in this calculation. This knowledge can help us explain decision-making processes in various situations.
Good point, Alice. Now, let's delve into the action value calculator model. This model is a theoretical framework used by researchers to explain how our brains assign values to different actions.
Exactly, Alfred. The action value calculator model suggests that our brains have a system that assigns values to different actions based on their potential outcomes. This helps us evaluate and choose the most advantageous action in a given situation.
Well said, Alice. Now, let's talk about the contextual modulation of infants' gaze following. This concept focuses on how the ability of infants to follow someone's gaze is influenced by contextual factors.
Precisely, Alfred. Researchers have found that various contextual factors, such as the presence of an object or social cues, can influence an infant's ability to follow someone's gaze. Understanding these contextual modulations can provide insights into the development of gaze-following skills in infants.
Absolutely, Alice. Lastly, let's explore the development of action value assignment. This concept refers to how the assignment of values to different actions develops over time, particularly during childhood.
That's right, Alfred. As children grow and develop, their ability to assign values becomes more refined and sophisticated. This developmental process helps shape their decision-making abilities and influences their actions in various contexts.
Well summarized, Alice. So, there you have it. The key concepts of gaze following, cognitive processes underlying action value calculation, action value calculator model, contextual modulation of infants' gaze following, and the development of action value assignment.
We hope this introduction has provided you with a solid foundation to understand scientific papers that touch upon these concepts. Remember, these concepts are crucial in studying social cognition, decision-making, and infant development.
That's all for now. Thanks for watching and see you next time.
Goodbye.
Hello everyone. Welcome to our video today on the topic of forum action value calculations in social context from Infancy. I'm Alfred.
And I'm Alice. Let's dive into this interesting research and break it down for you in a way that is easy to understand.
Infants are incredibly adaptive when it comes to their social behaviors, such as gaze following. They can adjust these behaviors based on the social context they are in. The researchers propose that these adaptations are driven by the infant's social decision-making process, which aims to achieve the most valuable outcome.
That's right. To better understand this, the researchers developed an action value calculator model that uncovers the cognitive mechanisms behind infant decision-making during social interactions.
So, Why is adaptive modulation of infant social behavior so crucial? Well, human survival and prosperity depend on our ability to form and be part of complex social and cultural institutions. Infants particularly rely on the people around them for immediate survival and to learn about their social environment.
Cultural learning is a unique form of social learning in humans. It allows behaviors and information to be transmitted among individuals. Studies have shown that infants modulate their learning and communication strategies to optimize social learning under various communicative contexts.
A specific behavior that infants use early on to learn about their surroundings is gaze following. It's when they follow someone else's gaze to understand what they are looking at. Previous research has shown that infant gaze following can be modulated by social contexts such as attention-grabbing actions, the familiarity of interacting partners, and prior social experience.
That's right. Researchers have found that contextual information, like the familiarity of the environment or the actions of others, can influence the likelihood of gaze following in infants. However, there have also been studies that suggest infants may engage in gaze following regardless of the context if they have an opportunity to learn from someone else's gaze.
Exactly. To explain these contextual modulations of social behavior, the researchers propose their action value calculator model. According to this model, infants make decisions between different action alternatives under each social context to maximize the expected rewarding outcome.
The researchers suggest that external cues, like ostensive or attention-grabbing actions, are not direct determinants of infants' actions. Instead, infants execute actions based on the subjective values they assign to each action within a given context. They define action values as determinants of social behavior that predict the likelihood of subsequent reward.
Some recent studies support this model. For example, one study found that 7-month-old infants decide where to look based on the expected reward value of cues. Another study showed that contextual modulations of infant gaze following were associated with an increase in the infant's heart rate just before engaging in gaze following behavior.
Right. And an increase in heart rate can be an indicator of physiological arousal, which is tied to the representation of reward expectations. These findings suggest that infants calculate the action value of gaze following within each context.
The researchers also propose a 4-step process in their model. First, social cues are encoded to determine the social context. These cues can be anything from faces to gestures or speech. Second, action values are calculated based on the integrated context, taking into account memories and physiological states. Third, different action alternatives are compared to make behavioral decisions. And finally, the infants execute the action with the highest value among the options. It's important to note that infants update their social context after executing an action, and the process repeats itself for the next action decision. This model emphasizes the internal calculation process of values in infants rather than relying solely on external cues. Absolutely. This research provides us with a framework to understand the mechanism underlying contextual modulation of social behavior in infants. It helps us see that infants are actively making decisions based on the values they assign to different actions within a given context. And it highlights the importance of considering both external cues and internal values when studying social behaviors in infants. It's fascinating to think about how even at such a young age, infants are already engaging in complex decision-making processes in their social interactions. That's right. Understanding these processes can have implications for early childhood development and education. By recognizing how infants make decisions and assign values within social contexts, we can create environments that optimize their learning and social interactions.
Well, that wraps up our explanation of the research on forum action value calculations in social context. From Infancy, we hope you found it insightful and easy to follow.
Thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions or comments, please let us know. And stay tuned for more educational videos on fascinating scientific topics. Have a great day.
Goodbye.